action doesn't stop. The playmakers, the speed, the competition, the next generation, the talent, the passion, the grind. Now take it to Friday Night Lights. Watch Western football live on NFHS Network. Presented by the Showdown Series.
And we're live. Greeting you guys back here at Western High School for the Coaches Show this week, presented by the Showdown Series, where we focus on everything Western Pioneers football and everything related to the Western Pioneers in what was a chaotic week, so to say the least, to start the season. A lesson learned and a lot of film watched, and a good interview the other day by our linebacker, Deshaun Rufus, who truly balled out in that game. I'm back, Kent, and I feel great, better than ever probably. But you've seen me and can kind of adjust to how I was feeling on Friday night.
Yeah, that certainly was an experience. We had challenges all the way across, whether it was up in the booth or on the field. It was a pretty challenging time, and we got through it. That's the thing is, the broadcast team was able to overcome the adversity. Again, real quickly, for those of you watching on NFHS, it was a real rough time. We had internet right up until the very just before kickoff, and then we get tapped on the shoulder, hey, we lost our internet. And then got the broadcast team, Angel Vargas and Mr. Almeida, figuring it out how to get us on, and we were able to get back on by the second quarter. So thankfully they were able to get things done for us, and we were able to get on with the ball game. Now, talking about the ball game, that was a rough one. We lost 42-14 to Salesian. Salesian looked for revenge, and you could tell they were the more hungry team. That's definitely what you can call it.
I definitely agree, Ken. I think that we had the talent there. I'd love to play that game 5 more times to see how it all works out, but you get to play it once this season. That's what's given, right? It's, coming into it. And I think that Salesian really played up to their performance standards and what they were risking all off season, probably practicing really hard to get back on Western. It was pretty obvious because, last year we beat Salesian in a last-second game winner. This year, a much renowned team for us, a much renowned program. But on Salesian's side, a bunch of returners who played pivotal roles last year, and I'm sure their hearts were broken during last year's game. And now it kind of comes back to our way, and we get to learn a good lesson in this loss. And I think, like I said, Kent, a fun game when I look back on it and I just watched the film. But when I was involved emotionally, it was a tough game for me.
It really was. And you think about it, the game's actually started off well. We had Rafael Rodriguez knocked it into the end zone, touchback out the gate. Mm-hmm. He didn't have many of those last season, but he was able to get that done. Was able to get that touchback out the gate. But then Salesian took the ball 80 yards for a touchdown on their opening drive, and they really never looked back. They were on point the rest of the way.
Yeah, they really ran efficiently. They did their best in the first half to keep the ball away from Western's offense. They ran the ball, well enough to keep the ball and the clock going, and it limited Western to not really seeing the rock until, later in the game that they're usually used to seeing. And in the first quarter, we were sitting there like, holy moly, we don't have a first down yet. And then, going to the second quarter, we got cooking a little bit, but couldn't quite catch our motion all the way. We had a couple drop passes, a drop interception, and these things happen on a football field. Myself being one of those people who's dropped one and knows the feeling, it doesn't feel good, and you definitely learn from that experience. So we're going to take our licks this week. As a football player, that's how I look at it. We're going to take our licks this week. We're going to watch film. Film's going to tell us the truth. Through watching film, we found out that there was some studs on the field and some absolute dogs.
No, that really was, Justin. I mean, you think about it, despite giving up 42 points, the defense actually didn't play that badly. You could see how they, on film, Mo Padios on his show really showed out, of what the team was doing and how they were able to really how close it was in terms of a couple plays. There's the axiom, football's the game of inches. Boy, it showed up that way. Just one drop here, one missed hook and lateral there. Yep. Instead of us being up 21-20 at the time, we're down 21-7 or 20-7. Then they turn around, flip that around with a last-second touchdown in the first half. Now we're looking up at 28-7, and we never really caught our footing after that.
Yeah, and it's tough like that. That last touchdown right before the first half was such a beautifully thrown ball to the back shoulder. 3 defenders on him. I mean, you can't take that away from a guy. That's like one of those ones where you practice all offseason through that 130, 140 times to that receiver. And it was an impressive throw, an impressive catch. Caught us a little off guard. And I think that Western's going to look forward to laying the hammer, right? Because on defense, we did a good job of that. We hit hard. We played great on the D-line. We did some fantastic things as far as, at first I thought our coverage was a little soft. We were letting them get everything too easy. All of a sudden, our corners got this confidence in them, and we've seen another level come out of those guys. So where we went into the game feeling like, all right, our question mark could be the secondary, I came out of that game feeling like our defense is pretty even across all levels. This is a very inspiring linebacker group. It's a formidable, more than formidable, it's a stud D-line group for sure if they can stay in their lanes and do what they're supposed to do and listen to, I see that a couple times, Deshaun Rufus come down and pat a guy on the butt and say, move over, and that's the, like your son did, Ken, that's what a Mike does, is like make sure everybody's in position, right? And sometimes we fall out of position. It might be another linebacker or it might be another D lineman, but the one guy who can't be off is the Mike, and he's got to recognize that. And that shows like a high level of football IQ for a guy like him, who's also sitting back here and super relaxed on the show yesterday. So I think you guys should definitely, or that's when I watched yesterday, but Monday, I think you guys should definitely go watch Deshaun's interview. I think it's going to go hand in hand with tonight's interview here coming along.
Well, Justin, you talk about Deshaun Rufus. He was the player, the defensive player of the game, the Keno's defensive player of the game. Tylan Nesby being the offensive player of the game for Keno's. But there was this my ball mentality that Salesian had. The receivers absolutely had it. Besides him, Deshaun Rufus had that my ball mentality on his interception. He had 2 on the night, but the very first one, it was close to him, and he just ripped it away from the receiver. Like, hey, that's my ball, and that's the kind of that's what Coach Howard would definitely want his receivers to be doing. Is that's my ball. That ball's up in the air. Any 50-50 ball, that's me. I own that ball, and that's that. So you could sell that from Salesian. Those guys, they're actually, a couple of those guys were D1 type of guys. Their quarterback was a D1 guy, so that wasn't any slouch team that we were looking at. But I was just impressed the way we battled, and we certainly did battle the entire way. Again, lots of missed opportunities in that ball game. We talked about them briefly, but it was a lot closer. Even that's easy to say. It's a lot closer when it was than a 42-14 score.
Well, you just know as a player, too, you kind of come out of these games and understand, and that's like where I can give some insight is, there's games you come out of and you got your butt whooped and there just was no chance ever. Didn't feel like that in this game, right? And did things go our way? No. Did we work hard before this game? Yes. Did we deal with a little adversity in the first quarter that I didn't expect? Yes, and I feel like we played 3 quarters of football, especially on the defensive side. And in other years, our offense has had to carry our defense in circumstances. So playing against a great team like that with that much talent and going into a game where we're playing another team with, 4 guys in the top 150, we match up well. And it's a good opportunity for us to show out every position and show why the colleges are coming here to Western to look at us, because we match up well with these guys. And last year's team did a great job of that. You put Nunley against anybody, and Nunley was locking them up, That last game, we watched Nunley and Hale go at it, and now we're watching Hale go at it with Servite and all these other schools. And you're saying, well, no surprise that Nunley made his way over to Michigan, right?
Yep, absolutely.
He was that talented. And these guys, I feel like Nunley progressed throughout the season. He was immensely talented when he came here, but he progressed as well. And I see the same trajectory for a lot of these guys on this team. I just was most impressed by the front 7, the way they played. On defense and how we, no matter what score was on the scoreboard, we were opportunistic on defense. We were always looking for interception. We were looking to hit fumbles out, and we were tackling hard. We weren't missing tackles, and that makes my heart happy. So something to build on.
Well, we can turn the page now on Salesian and move ahead next week. Well, actually, tomorrow night against Villa Park. Mm-hmm. They're also going to be looking for revenge, just like Salesian did. We had the first ever win for a Western team against any Villa Park team last year in football. That was a huge win for the program, and you got the feeling that we caught them by surprise. Villa Park came in feeling like, we got to do show up. Well, this time we're not going to be on. We're not going to surprise them this time. They know who we are. They're geared for us. They're going to be. We better have it strapped in because they're coming. They're definitely hunting for blood.
Yeah, and they're perennially a great program. And there's that same energy we had last week is going to be run back this week. This has been one that's been circled on their schedule, and the question is, did we circle ours, right? Because when both teams circle their schedule, you're going out for a great matchup that you guys can't miss, and NFHS is going to be the place to be to catch it, and call it a little plug or promo there, but I mean, really, this is what it's about. Like, Ken, we're blessed to really go out every game and see these opponents that are at our level or above us. And it really tests us every week, and it keeps my interest tremendously. It also, I think, keeps these players super interested in their job, right? And performing up to that standard. I don't think we were projected to beat them last year, not even close.
No,
probably
it wasn't going to be
more
close.
13-point dogs, but we did the job, and this year we could do it again. So there's no reason to not be watching along with us on Thursday night when we go there to take care of business.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the Pep's Pizza Pick'em winner. Last week it was Justin Connolly, a perfect 5-0. Hopefully Angel has us queued up there, the QR code for those of you watching right now. Go ahead and click on that QR code. It'll be up there at some point. To get yourself into the there you go. Get yourself into the pick pool. There's no cost. The winner gets a free Pep's Pizza each week. So Justin, you're gonna.
I'm gonna head over there. Yeah, you can go with me. I need help on that.
All right,
pizza.
good. Yeah, I heard it's really good. So they're Vic and Veronica do such a really nice job over there, and so gracious in hosting us. Well, we want to promote them as much as we can. So get on out there, get your picks into Pep's Pizza, and we'll announce the winners on next, actually on Mo's show, on Mo's and Kevin's show on Monday, this week at Western. We talked a little bit, we just touched a little bit on adversity for the Pioneers. And yeah, we had some. The starting quarterback left the team after Friday's game. That's something that doesn't happen a lot, but the team's now getting tapped on the shoulder. And that's everybody. That's everybody in the entire program. That's me and you. It's the coaches. It's the players. Everyone gets now tapped on the shoulder. And you got to look at this as, adversity. And adversity can either be a curse or a blessing based on how you look at it. And that's really what's being called into question right now is how are we going to look at this adversity? Are we going to be cursed and say, woe to us, or are we going to cowboy the heck up and make this happen?
Yeah, Ken, I have multiple thoughts about that. And first and foremost, I'm going to go at it with just a football player's mentality. I've been in some tough positions as a player, 1 in 9 seasons where no game got more than maybe 10 or 17 points or 13 points on JV. And you always had a chance, but never got through it and just didn't have a quarterback. But the quarterback learned and got better and ended up being our guy later, right? And sometimes you got to grow together as a team, but there's times where people got hurt too, and we had to run crazy schemes out of nowhere, out of the parking lot, essentially, which is, what you're faced with sometimes as a coach and a player in football and in life. Sometimes the plan goes awry, and you're like, what am I gonna do? You've got to show up. First off, it's your school's name, right? That means a lot, and it's your name that means a lot too. But when you show up in these situations and you perform out of the box and you just hit things in the mouth and defense plays stronger and we got a lower scoring game and all of these things that I remember making happen that I believe this team can make happen, all of a sudden you got a whole different dynamic and you win, right? And, sometimes the wins are shown in different ways and you have a tough time understanding, but adversity is everywhere. And you're lucky as a football team to face your adversity at the front of the season rather than the back of the season, right? We see guys all the time who go through a season and whoop up on people who are, 50 to 100 points lower to them. And then at the end of the season, they get bounced in round 1 of playoffs, or play down in a division that, doesn't really make sense for who they really are. And we kind of call it out as football insiders, but Western's not that school. Western's been playing up and up and up and up every year. And this climb to success and climb to back to Western's original lore, as you would say, Kent, that I love that word that the old guys use.
Yeah, lore.
To those years is a lot more about the climb, right? It's Division 11 or 12 championships, move all the way up. And last year we're in Division 5 playoffs. And the guys we're playing against this year, our guys are playing in college, and those guys are going to go on to the next level next year. And all this other great stuff that happens is so much more interesting to me than, staying down there in a lower division and walloping on people. So, you have a chance against adversity. You had a tough schedule coming in this season. We lost a quarterback, and something just popped up to me. I'm like, oh, he's going to this school, and I know his best friends at that school, and now I just realized it. But I don't know. I don't understand how everything works. I don't have any separate feelings, and I think no one should carry any either as far as like somebody making their decision in this day and age. I think that it was time for us to come together as a team and an offense and a defense and look in the mirror and put on that face paint and come to war, bro. Let's go to war. It's time to play some football. And I'm sure maybe our game plan will change a little bit. We're not going to be on the ball in 15 seconds, or maybe we will. I have no idea what you can expect from Dan Davidson and his coaching staff because they're all elite. And that's what's going to be fun about this week is we're going to find out in real time.
Well, this Western's not, this is not unique to Western to lose their starting quarterback. You remember Chance Thomas went out in the first series of the first game against Los Alamitos.
Correct.
And in that game, what happened? The next quarterback came up and did a yeoman's work until Chance Thomas got healed. So, again, this is not, it's kind of the same, it has to be looked at the same way.
Yeah.
The other circumstances, there's different opinions about that. But anyway, let's move on. Let's go to commercial right now. And when we come back from that, Greg Snyder will be up next.
If you think old school steakhouses are a thing of the past, let me introduce you to Kino's Restaurant in Anaheim Hills. This local favorite has been serving the community since the early 1980s and is still family owned today. We started with the shrimp cocktail and fresh Cobb salad before diving into the star of the show, a massive tomahawk steak for two, served with twice baked potatoes and vegetables for $79.99. And then came dessert. Their warm butter cream cake was hands down one of the best desserts I've ever had. Pair it with an espresso martini like I did and thank me later. If you're looking for an old school steakhouse vibe, Kino's deserves a spot on your list.
And we're back live at the Coaches Show podcast here with two of our guests today. In our second episode here today, we got Coach Snyder and Coach Howard. I'm going to let you tell them what you guys are responsible for. Coach Howard, you're the wide receivers. Coach Snyder, you got multiple roles, right?
This year I'm currently the assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, and I oversee special teams.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And like I said, I'm the wide receiver coach. Yes.
And so, Coach Howard, you have a lot of talent. Coach Snyder, you have always taken on a lot in football and continue to do so. Talk to us a little bit about this year's program and kind of, what drew you to Western?
Well, they talk about Western, land of opportunity. It's a big thing that really sells this place to a lot of people is they're trying to create situations for people to grow, to get where they want to go. I was looking for that opportunity. I was lucky enough to meet with Coach Davidson finally and talk about what that opportunity could be. And it truly has been a situation that, I can really grow and do things that a normal position coach probably is not going to do, probably not going to be involved with. No offense to our position coaches. A lot of them like to show up and coach football. And there's so much more that goes into it. It's the film study. It's the bills. I mean, you're doing taxes. It's feed the kids. It's drive the bus. It's all that stuff. Mm-hmm. At a school like this where we're really trying to provide such an amazing opportunity for kids that they don't get these opportunities elsewhere. Western has done such a good job of uplifting students regardless of their background and making sure they have that same opportunity at life and becoming something greater, becoming something bigger. And we do that not only in football, but we do that as a school in general.
Yeah. It shows here, Coach Howard, before you go, it shows here in the effort that they give here to us for broadcasting. This whole media program here is allowing us to do this. And it's a collaborative where we get to help learn from each other, right? Mm-hmm. And see how this works out week after week and get better and better, just like a football team would. So I agree. I couldn't agree more. And I think the football program here is a big highlight of that we can bring this much energy to do something like this where people will watch because our football team is great to tune into. And Coach Howard, you've got a lot of talent on your side of the football, right? Dealing with these wide receivers. I've seen a ton of Aiden Payne over the years. I love him as a human being and a player. I think that, he's built of all the right things. And, we went through, just in general this week as a set of receivers, a little bit of a tougher week. And how do you coach through that as a receivers coach? And kind of what's your motto as a receivers coach if, prior to that, like?
Yeah, so like you said, this week was tough. A lot of drop passes. No receiver coach ever wants to see that, as you guys know. I was holding it on my sideline, trying not to blow my top off. But it's just re-motivate them, re-get into focus, because they can do it. They can catch the ball.
Of course.
Be playing.
Yeah.
So it's just, okay, why are they dropping it? And we go back and watch film. It's like, okay, well, this pass was a little bit harder because you didn't run the distance you were supposed to run your route. You were at 5, you're supposed to be at 7. You was at 7, maybe a little bit easier for you to catch. All right, or I'm looking at film. Why are you trying to catch the ball with your body instead of your hands? Okay, now you're showing. Okay, now it's a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
If I can see that, then I'm pretty sure the other coaches may be able to see that on film too. So they'll see. Oh, okay, he dropped 2 passes. Now we already know he's gonna be in his head. We can get to him. All right, you don't want that.
No.
Now they're gonna be attacking you all game. All right, and a real defensive coach, a real good DB, they'll know that they'll attack you.
Yeah.
All right, so I always keep that on them. I always try to motivate them. Try to keep them stuff outside of football, like why are you playing this game? Like what is your motivation? What is your why? When I was in high school, they used to always say that, what is your why? Why are you playing this game? Because everybody say they wants to play football, but what is your real motivation? Like why are you out here busting all these slaps? Why are you out here running? Why are you out here bleeding, crying? So once I find that why for those kids, and I do that way early on, this is like December stuff. So once I do that, now when we have games like this, I can use that to help them motivate them. For example, like Aiden Payne, I know his why. All right. Now, when you go off to Oregon State, right, are they going to sit here and feel bad for you? No. So I can't do that. If I do that, then I'm setting you up for failure when you try to go to the next level. Right. So I try to explain that to the kids, keep them motivated. Like we were saying off the camera, on halftime, I'm just throwing you the ball, throwing it to you. I think we about got 50 catches then.
Right.
Before he went back out there in the second half. He obviously was frustrated. It's just calming down the mind because you get these 16, 17-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And who knows what's in their mind, right? They have a lot going on. So I really take pride in that. And that's why I'm here at Western too. I love that opportunity to be able to motivate kids, help them get in and out of high school and move on to a better life, whether it's college football or just being a worker in general, right? How can I help you be a better man? That's my job.
Hey, Coach, when you mentioned the players, the defensive backs are getting the head of the wide receivers, kind of talk me through what is that like? Because people watching may not know what you really mean by that. So you were used to a wide receiver as well, right?
Yes.
I guess they're talking to you a little bit. What are they saying?
So it depends on the DB. Like if you have someone who's like Taylor Ramsey, you already know it's blatant. You already know they talking, they mess, they doing this and this. Other ones, it might be okay. They might do like a little extra bump, And you do it the first couple times, okay, and then nothing. But they do it start 5, 10 times every time play over. They get a little bump, Now it's like get you mad, So it just depends on how the defense is, who that. Everybody got different personality on their defense. When I played receiver, I was the opposite. I used to try to get in DB's head.
Okay.
I'd throw them off, right? Because I was a bully as a receiver. I was a bully. In a run game, I'm taking you to the sideline to your coach.
Yeah.
It's a favorite wide receiver of every coach is one that's taking a guy to a sideline.
Yeah, I love that.
Right. In the pass game, I'm going to embarrass you. So you can't win. And by the time the fourth quarter, you out of your game. You out of your game. You don't know what I'm going to do. You don't know if it's going to be a run. If you don't know if it's going to be a pass, you just know you're just going to get embarrassed. That's what I want to wide receivers.
All right.
Each every play, we got to find a way to embarrass these guys. Take them out of their game. Yes, sir.
Should be on a T-shirt.
Well, I love that. I think that so many of us, even when I play, we use that part of our game. And it might be for a guy like me that's, not elite, just to get under the skin of somebody who's elite, right? Like if I put you on the ground a couple times, and you're elite and you're supposed to be elite, like I might not say a lot the whole game, but I might let you know when we're on the bottom of the pile, like you're not elite.
Yeah.
If I'm not elite, you're not elite. And there's other things, and there's a way that you get under people's skin, right? Especially when people start, tip passes and stuff, turning interceptions, and you run by the side. But, it's always best to kind of keep it to yourself unless it's on the bottom of the pile, I think, in general. Yeah. But as the game grows, I think you're making a great point is like there's a great opportunity to bounce back and not put on film a flawless game or a game where you don't have that issue so that coaches can't use that against you, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot across the board, it's not just one player. I think that there was a few opportunities across the game where we could have stepped up and got right back into it? And how do you guys, when you guys are going over film this last weekend, right, how do you both kind of go over that with each of your prospective group positions?
Well, when it comes down to correcting where we aren't being successful, there's no lying. It's all honesty. Look, this is the film. The eye in the sky never lies. You're not taking the right step. You're false stepping. You're doing these sort of things. And these are the things we have to fix. And that's not always the easiest thing for a kid to understand, because when they're sitting in a situation where they're in practice and they're in a play, they have so many different things they're thinking of that they want to do. And for us, let's simplify the first thing. Let's not fix the thing at the top. Let's fix the thing at the start. So it's about making sure that we're coming out of our stance properly. It's making sure we're stepping with the right foot. We're protecting the ball properly. It's making sure we have gap integrity. So we'll run a play and we'll go, why is the A gap open? Where is this guy? And then somebody goes, coach, that should have been me. So now there's this realization of like, oh, I can't just go freelance. I just can't go out and just do whatever I think I do. I have to do my responsibility. It's an 11-man game. There's not a game out there like football where you need all 11 men to do the right thing on any one play. I think about it often. If you actually think about statistically, how many things have to go right? How does any football play work? Because it shouldn't. There's so many things that should go wrong and could go wrong. But football works because you get 11 minds doing the right thing. And that's what's exciting about it, is getting these guys that, some of them have varying levels of football. Getting these guys that some of them have varying levels of goal. Some of them, they're not playing football after high school. That this is right now. This is for the guys they are playing with right now. And we have to get them all together, get them on the same page. So that starts in film. I'll be honest, a little bit of what happened on Friday last week, I had a thought. It might have been the best thing that ever happened to us, because now we know what to fix. Now we know we gotta hit these specific points to get this team better. And that's it. It's better every day. Better doesn't mean best. Better doesn't mean perfect. It means better. We have to grow, and I think our team, especially this week, has been doing it, and they've been growing together. On the field, they're becoming more physical. Their movement is better, and that's a result of taking a test. The game is a test, and not getting what you wanted. So what do you do next? Is it like, oh, woe is me and I'm done? Is it, what's next? What are we doing right now? And that's what our team is doing, and super proud of them. And there's guys I'm talking about where I hadn't seen that spark in them of like, this is exciting. It's exciting to improve. It's exciting to get better. So I'm super proud of them, and got to keep working with our kids.
You're spoken like a teacher. I know you're a world history teacher, and I don't want to segue off a little bit there, but I was at Panda India last night, and I see this Buddha, and a long time ago I was thinking, well, Buddha, he's Chinese, of course, right? Big fat Buddha. You always see him, and it's funny. We got a guy who's a defensive player of the week called Buddha. And that's made me think about, I got to bring this up to Coach Snyder again, about Buddha. Why isn't he not Chinese?
The Buddha was in India. Buddhism had made its way to China over a long period of time through trade routes, and they had to find a way to reconcile the differences between Indian culture and that of Chinese culture. So you have the Jolly Buddha that isn't Chinese. And my response, for anyone who is kind of confused, some people call that statue the fat Buddha, but you've never seen a fat Buddhist. And that's the proof. Everyone takes this look and they're like,
so I'm
right.
the only one who thought that Buddha was Chinese?
You started it.
That sounds like a Confucius say kind of quote right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
What, you never see a fat Buddhist?
No, you've never seen a skinny Buddha, but you never seen a fat Buddhist.
Well, you got to flip that. The
However
real
you say
Buddha,
it.
the real Buddha, I mean, they're living basic lifestyles now. If you want to talk about our Buddha, he's not from China. I mean, our Buddha has been one of the most consistent guys on our team. It's been so fun to see him grow as a player. He's always positive. There's no issue with him, and he's just playing hard. That's all he's ever doing, and he's always playing for his teammates. And he had a hell of a game on Friday. We expect the same as he goes forward. He's a huge part of our defense, and we're really trying to find a way to really maximize our defense and making sure that he's going to be a focal point in that. And that's part of what we do week to week. And this week with Ville Park, they're going to be physical. They're going to load the box. They're going to do these things. And we have the personnel on the field this week to make sure we are going to at least make sure they remember they played Western High School.
And boy, Buddha has made a huge leap from last year to this year. He looks like a superstar on defense. And I love how he stole those cookies on that interception. And, taking that back to you, Coach, watching a linebacker do that, that's what we like seeing safeties and cornerbacks do, but also what we try to prevent as a wide receiver, right? And you kind of seen that wide receiver freak out on that pass. Like he knew Buddha was coming and Buddha took that. How exciting is it for you, watching the defense have success last week and then going back, previous question, what's the message this week to our group of wide receivers as a whole? And what are you expecting from these guys this week?
Yeah, as well as the first question, it's exciting to see Buddha, right? Buddha started off, we always knew he was going to be a linebacker, right? But we tried him in an offense, right? And man, I used to be on Buddha a lot. I used to be on him a lot. Why you ain't doing it? But watching him play linebacker, it's so natural for him, right? It's wonderful. It's beautiful to see kids that go out there and have fun. I know he's a kid that came out, I believe, from Lakewood.
Yes.
Another opportunity for him, right? Who knows? I don't know his story, like that, but maybe Lakewood wasn't the right opportunity for him. It is now here at Western, right? And films like that is going to get him to go off to college somewhere. Somewhere he's going off to college somewhere doing that. Right, he does that for X amount of more games. He's getting the scholarship. I promise you, he will. Right, Coach Dan probably working on it right now as we talking.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that.
And the message this week, hey, I actually texted my receivers last night. I always tell them, make the best of your opportunity because you never know when it's going to end. Right. For example, as you know, we lost John, right? And who it ended for him, right? You might come back to it, but we never know. But I'm saying as of right now, his ended for him, and nobody could predict that. Nobody could, pull out a glass ball and say, yeah, this was going to happen for John, So he all had to make the best opportunities because now it's like, who's next? It's football, right?
And imagine being John standing on the sideline this last week. Well, you had the walk-off touchdown pass the year before, and now you're injured from the week before scrimmage. Man, I didn't even think about that. And it's as fans and media, I don't think we always see the inner workings of the team, but I know that, everyone's gonna want to step up for John.
Yes.
Because and I know John's probably working in the background to try to make something happen, just to give his best foot forward, because that's the kind of guy he is. But yeah, that hit me, and I was like, oh man, that was a tough game for John, especially last week, I'm sure. But that being said, this week with your receiving group and giving that message of, you never know when your last play is going to be, right? How are they responding to that?
I think they responded well. Surprisingly, it might have been surprised to you, but I'm never surprised about Taiwan being Taiwan. Taiwan has been doing that since I first got here. When when I first met him, he was playing basketball. I really know him that well, but as soon as he stepped on this field, I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be a kid.
I was very impressed by Taiwan. Had a kind of, AP had a moment out of the game, and all of a sudden 3 balls in a row to Taiwan, like you're the number one now, let's go, let's get working, and I was impressed by that and get him work quick. He'd already done some good things, and he'd done some good things on special teams. He had that first big play for us. But I also think he's kind of coming into his own. We've seen Aiden Payne kind of like reach this peak we reached this spot last year where he was just flying past people. And this confidence he was playing with was immaculate, and he's got that smile and that confidence on him now. And I see Taiwan doing the same thing this year. Like, he's going to get a lot of opportunities for sure in this offense. And he seemed to be very good last week, and I was impressed, very impressed.
Yeah, and to speak on that AP, I challenged him this week too. I said, go back and watch your old film. That's the guy we need, right? I understand, Bunchy's not here no more. You feel like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders. It doesn't have to be like that. You just seen Taiwan could do amazing things.
Exactly.
All right, pick each other up. All right, I told Taiwan, pick AP up. AP, pick Taiwan up. All right, help pick up the quarterbacks. Help pick up the linemen. All right.
I watched some who was it, Fitzgerald and Bolden,
Oh, yeah.
You watch those two guys together, and it's like, how are you going to go against these guys, bro? They block, they receive, they play every play hard, they smile on your face, and it's just professional and go. And that's what I see out of this year's team. I was really impressed by how well we carried ourselves throughout that game. We kept hitting hard. Things flared up a little bit in a sense, but we never really showed it. We just kept, professionalism and playing football, and I thought that was a great job by the team and the coaching staff.
Yes. Well, and another thing about that is, if you saw the, penalty ratio, our boys actually kept their heads solid. I was super proud of them because the other team, they They were doing a little stuff after the play, and they were taking the extra, and that shows something of a maturity in our boys that they're not going to turn around and just fight and then get themselves kicked out of a game and this and that, because that's who they are. They're football players. They're focused on their team. They're focused on their family, and they're not going to do something outside of themselves that they can't come back from. And so I was really proud of our team in that aspect, walking away from it, because, I mean, we want to make sure we're growing towards this next game. There's always another game. There's always a next step. And even when we get to the end of the season after that, there's always a next step for our kids, and that's what we want to do for them. We want to teach them that that's your goal and focus. It's not about what happened. It's about what's going to happen.
Couldn't agree more, Coach. And is there anything else you guys want to leave us off with this week before we wrap and take on Villa Park?
Yeah, expect fireworks. There's always going to be fireworks.
I think this game's going to be fun. I think it's going to be physical. It's going to be, hopefully, it's going to be our kids' dream football game. That's what we want. We want every game to be what they dream about. Every game to be the reason why they put pads on as a freshman. And you got to think about that. The first time they put pads on, think about all of the opportunities, all the cameras, all the lights that they have to make that happen tomorrow night. They have to go out there and they have to make it that game that they dreamt about when they were a little kid, when they were in Pop Warner. And I want to see that on Thursday night.
Okay, anything else from your side?
No, I'm just looking forward to this. And again, Coach Howard, thanks for coming on. First time podcast for you. I love having you on. Did a good job as a rookie. All right.
Thank you.
Coach Snyder, nice to see you again. I've seen you a couple times before, back for the old school. But yeah, great to see you guys again. No, it's been great. And really, I thought the reason you guys both came over here is to come on our show. Is that the reason you guys transferred over to to Western?
I mean, we got here and we got on the show. I mean, mission accomplished, I guess. So
the Justin Show. All right.
Well, Coach Snyder, me and you have had a burger or two in the past, and we've also found out we played against each other, though we may have not known it. And football comes full circle once again, as Coach Dan Davidson and I talked about in the last podcast, and Coach Lauderdale as well. This is like all three degree of football family, right? And Coach Howard, it's a pleasure to meet you and be part of your football family now. And we look forward to having you guys on again in the future to talk more of your experience in football and how everything's going with these, with these kids in real time. So keep going out there and motivating. And it's a pleasure to be part of the Western Pioneers football program along with you guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Our pleasure. It's been great every second.
All right, so we'll let these guys get on out to practice, and we'll be back after this message for a wrap-up with Justin and I.
3 highlight tapes, 2 seasons, 0 coaches calling me back. Turns out my film wasn't the problem. Nobody who hands out scholarships ever saw it.
So I put everything coaches actually check in one profile.
6 weeks later, my phone would not stop buzzing.
And we're back to conclude today's Coaches Show here from Western High School. Today, Kent, we had a lot of good football talk. I wish I could have gone longer, and this could have been a 3-hour Joe Rogan type show, but you can't. You're touching your watch telling me these guys got to go coach, and I'm remembering that what's most important here, right, is
football. I didn't think you caught that sign. I thought I was being subtle.
I caught it. I'm always watching the watch. But yeah, before we go, I wanted to say a big thank you and shout out to all of our sponsors. First and foremost, you guys come catch us on NFHS tomorrow night for this game, and you will catch a phenomenal broadcast of this game, followed by, if you'd like to join our team at Pep's Pizza afterwards. We'll be going there after pretty much every game, from my understanding. I've got a free pizza waiting for me, so it's Thursday night. I'm coming. Pep's Pizza, beware. Justin Connolly's coming to collect. It's the only pick'em pool I've ever won in my life, and I may or may not use ChatGPT to help me, but that's neither here nor there. Kent, we've got some phenomenal sponsors this year, to include Pep's Pizza, Showdown Series. We got Keno's, and who am I missing?
You're missing Showdown Series.
Showdown Series,
Rep
Keno's,
Max.
Pep's. There you go. Rep Max, of course, Rep Max. So if you guys could go and support any of these businesses, that'd be great for everybody. And of course, catch us on NFHS tomorrow night as we play Villa Park. And yeah, be aware of some surprises. I'm sure we're going to be pulling out everything tomorrow night to go against a studly team there in Villa Park. And lastly, Ken, we're going in and we're not knowing too much tomorrow either. And so how are you feeling, Ken? You'd ever tell me how you're feeling about this week?
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. A lot of transition. A lot, first time, got to change the quarterback, so we got to see how that all works. The thing that I really loved hearing was with coaches saying the adversity thing. I think they're looking at this adversity as a blessing. That's the feeling I get. You kind of got a little bit of that from Buddha on the show on Monday. I feel like this is what I want to see. Whether we win this game or not, I'm less concerned with that as I am the fight in the dog. Really, that's what I'm looking for is, do we have that fight in the dog? Do we have that dog mentality? And I think we will, regardless of the score.
Boy, Ken, I'm excited. This is like my kind of week. I faced this kind of, this kind of climb a couple times and succeeded in this climb, right? And I'm excited about the guys that we have climbing this mountain. I'm excited about this coaching staff. I'm excited about this whole program, the media program and everything. And we've got a bright future ahead of us here. So once again, catch us tomorrow night. Do not miss the game. Thursday nights, where else would you rather be than with us watching Western football?
Well, I got one more thing to say. We want to mention our the Keno's Players of the Week.
Oh, definitely.
Right. The Offensive Player of the Week was Taiwan Nesby. He had a couple of receiving touchdowns in last week's game. And then our Defensive Player of the Week, Deshaun Buddha Rufus. So he had 2 picks, and he was our Defensive Player of the Week. Thank you, Keno's Restaurant, Steve Cooper and company, for allowing us to have these Players of the Week. And we look forward to having those guys over to you.
And we can't wait to catch you guys next week for another week of football and a recap of this week's game against Villa Park. And that being said, the coaches show is out. We look to see you guys and catch you guys again next week.
Peace.